And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line from Bell and the Bird podcast, our old friend, Mr. John Barchard. What's up, Johnny boy?
Hey, what's up, Marky? How are you, buddy?
How
you're
am
not
I?
doing great. I don't know.
No, I'm not, you Cub fan bastard. But what happened? What happened?
This is my favorite time in Philadelphia. It's the same 10-year cycle. This is great. This is like, oh, there's hope. And I actually bought into it this year. I actually tweeted out, I go, you know what? They might not screw this thing up even after Bryce, broke his thumb. And here we come. Here's a guy that's never freaking, can I swear? I'm so sorry.
Go for it. Whatever.
Guy that's never fucking hit 2 home runs in his entire career goes bang, bong, boom, and it just makes my heart warm. And they leave this guy in there. They leave this dude who wears number 70. That's already trouble. I've never even heard of the guy. Yeah. And it warms my heart that like a payroll of $149 million, which is basically intentionally trying to lose. And if it wasn't for its manager, like giving its all, they probably would. So like, this is awesome. The burn of, please bring the XFL, please bring the USFL, spring football. We will eliminate Philadelphia Phillies baseball. I promise you, The Rock, if you're listening, I swear to God, I'll help everybody. We just need more football. That's all.
Yes, I could use more football now. I definitely don't know how I'm going to feel about Phillies baseball. Like Eagles report to camp, the players, the coaches are already there at NovaCare. They showed up there Sunday, so the players show up, and then it's like, oh, like Phillies, I double dog dare you to lose this series coming up here against the Braves. Like I double dog dare you, and they will just disintegrate. They will be like, like they're in the Marvel universe and Thanos is coming, and they just turn to dust. Like that's what happens to the Phillies when the Thanos glove of the Eagles comes into town, and it's like, hey, guess what? Football season already, so let's party.
Yeah, exactly. You want me to watch Jalen Hurts throw the same football that we only get a glimpse of for a minute and a half for 154 times straight from Monday through Friday? Go ahead, lose to the Braves. See if I can. We're right on that line. And I saw I don't know if your timeline did the same thing on Twitter, but mine already declared it was Eagle seasons.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Monday morning, and here we are, baby. Let's go. It's Eagle season.
We're doing all football this week. It's going to be a straight show of football. You're kicking us off, pun intended. Now I have to say this. I'm finding myself in and I hate using this word and I hate using this phrase, cautiously optimistic about this season. I did the thing where you hedge and you go, I didn't really know how I feel about it. Where I sound like a little whiny SOB. But like I'm like, okay, hold on. All the upgrades, the guys they brought in, the draft they got, like almost exactly who I wanted. Maybe not in the round that they got them. And then the actual upgrades, all that stuff. And Jalen Hurts worked his ass off. I think he's a good quarterback already. I think he'll be a good quarterback this year. But it's like, but all that can't be true. Like all that can't come into a nice ball of Philadelphia optimism and then actually bear fruit, right? Like that's not going to happen. No way.
Okay, so I'm gonna translate for everybody what Mark just said. Is this? Howie Roseman had a fantastic offseason, so much so that I couldn't even believe that AJ was going to be here. I can't believe that A.J. Brown is a Philadelphia Eagle. And then all of a sudden, Miles Sanders opened up his big fat mouth. And then there was some stupid training report from Derek Gunn, which is, by the way, I'm not disregarding Derek Gunn at all. I think he's 100% purebred. Somebody does not believe in Jalen Hurts, 100%. But then got into Mark's head. And now, because we are there, we have arrived at cautiously optimistic. You see how this works?
Okay.
Just like,
your ability to translate. I think my wife might need you to come over and like facilitate any type of disagreement that we have so that you can actually say what I mean. And it doesn't just come out like, rah, 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 rah. But anyway.
Listen to me. I understand because both you and I grew up in a pre-Super Bowl world of misery, of looking at Sam Bradford throw 10 beautiful passes in the preseason and then be maybe a little bit of a jerk off and say Super Bowl run like maybe somebody you're talking to right now. So I get it. But this is post Super Bowl. We can't do anything. It is. We should be wearing the biggest armor ready to go into battle with this group because I think that's what we're headed towards. And whatever. Everybody says homer and hype, and it's July at this. But listen, I've been a Jalen Hurts fan forever, and I like yelling at him to get better because that's what he likes, and I'm going to give it to him even more this year because he has every single weapon outside of Miles Sanders. We'll get into that later. Just like to be a great passer this year. So there should be steps taken forward. You worked with Tom House, all the dumb offseason stuff. I'm sure there's going to be 1,000 guys that came into the best shape of their life, and like everybody's doing great at OTA and whatever it is. So show it. Let's go and see it. And you are going to see a beautifully put together football team with a defense that we have no idea what it's going to do, but it's going to be fast and it's going to be aggressive and it's going to be awesome. Get on board. Let's go.
Well, see, here's what happens, because I'll walk you through the stage real quick. It's the cautiously optimistic stuff because, like, deep down, I'm like, oh, my God, this team's totally going to win the division. And then I'm like, well, let's just pump the brakes there, pom-pom boy. And then by, like, preseason game 2, I'm like, Super Bowl! Go to see you on Broad Street. We're getting another parade. See you at the Art Museum. Like, that's just kind of the way I go. But in all seriousness, I am one thing I'm not cautiously optimistic about in like when I break it down to just like the most purest form here. I believe in Jalen Hurts. Like I believe in Jalen Hurts. I believe that at the end of this season, at the very worst case scenario, the Eagles are going to have the very difficult decision of going, okay, is he the guy for the future, or do we use a pick on a quarterback? And I think they're going to stick with him. I think after this year, Jalen Hurts will remain the Eagles' starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. We'll put it to you like that.
Okay, I like that. That's not like, see, this is where everybody, I think, is hedging. And I said this, I think, from the offseason. It's hilarious that, like, I just think it's true. However you felt about Jalen Hurts after that Tampa Bay game, your mind has not changed however you felt since then. And that's what I think is holding up the cautious part of your optimism is just, the quarterback. Mostly here, right? I mean, they seem to give every Eagles fan what they wanted on the defensive side of the ball, draft-wise, unless you're my co-host Vince Quinn and are still really upset that they didn't get Kyle Hamilton and really love Notre Dame or whatever is crying about in his cereal. Like, it's just they gave you what you wanted. They gave you your wish list. Like, you couldn't have planned anything better. So it's just about executing all this stuff, right? And the one thing that's confusing to me is we're constantly focused on the quarterback and not, I'll say, both head coaches, because that's how they clarify. Between Gannon and between Nick Sirianni, I don't know, like, their theories seem great. They seem like excellent teachers, but who cares? Andy Reid is still kicking your ass probably up and down on a game day, which I don't think we'd ever say in our lifetime, but like, there's still a ways to go there too. I don't know. What does Nick Sirianni run, Mark?
I think it's like some kind. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I really don't know.
Other than running on Stoutland and be like, hey, can you go run the football with this badass offensive line?
Right.
Sure, no problem. But I don't know what they're doing. And Jonathan Gannon revamped the defense in the second year of his defense. I think it's interesting. I think it's aggressive. And I think the schedule lines up for a Super Bowl run.
Oh my God. To hell with caution.
Exactly. Say what you feel with feelings. Let it out. No one's going to hurt you.
Oh, geez. I love talking to you. Dude, all right. So, all right. Let's unpack something real quick. The whole idea of Nick Sirianni's offense. He's going to be doing the game planning, but game day, those calls will go to Shane Steichen. But when you think, is that pessimism?
Oh, my God. Do you want some pessimism? That guy right there.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. No, I don't want to know. Please, by all means, go. Shane Steichen. Hot takes. Go.
Sucked with the Chargers. Sucks as a coordinator. Sucks as a play caller. Like, I don't like it. Something smelled bad from the beginning when they switched. Everybody's giving them this credit about running the football. You and I could have thought of that. Hey, our quarterback can't throw. What do we do? Oh, great. Oh, well, they really turned it around. Like, okay, now let's see it. Did he learn anything? Is he a good teacher? Why did they make the switch in the first place? Like that, I have more questions about the coaching staff than I do the talent. 100%. Okay. That's one of them.
Here's one thing Shane Steichen does better than almost anyone I've ever seen. Overly aggressive hand gestures during press conferences. Have you ever noticed that? Like you and I aren't afraid to talk with our hands, but like this guy, his hands will be out of sight, especially if it's a tight shot right from the camera. And he'll just all of a sudden be like, well, you just got to have a guy like you have Devontae Smith just come out of the backfield like that running around. The next thing you know, you got Miles Sanders. He's got to come up and make a block. It's like almost a wax on, wax off type of motion that, quite frankly, scares me every once in a while. Like, this is the thing. But let's talk about that offense.
Yeah.
Because you alluded to something right there when it came to Jalen Hurts. Halfway through the season, you're like, all right, I got this great offensive line. I got a great run game. I got an elusive quarterback. I got a guy that can make a throw, but he doesn't have to be the focal point of the offense. The passing game in the NFL in the year 2021, now 2022, is not going to be based on the passing game, which is mind-blowing. How much of a transition do you think we see this year with hopefully an improved Jalen Hurts, and I believe it improved Jalen Hurts, and the pieces around him improved as well?
Major in terms of I don't know in terms of improvement overall, I don't know, but in terms of the passing game, major. Like I think that they just could not execute the air raid essentially. And if you it's hard to remember going back that far, but all the confusion, especially that 49ers game, I think sticks out to all of us. So just too much razzle dazzle in the red zone. They could move the ball between the 20s. They couldn't punch it in. Like it was just one of those weird moments where you saw, even in the proper criticism of Jalen Hurts and not being able to see a wide open Quez Watkins, and that's been rampant throughout, the Tampa Bay game too, and all that. But how much of that is, it seemed to me a lot of, hey, Jalen doesn't understand this stuff yet. He's way further behind than we think. I need him to look here, and if it's not there, throw there, and if that's not there, I need him to run. So everybody's been using one read, but if you miss Quez Watkins, he's wide receiver 3 or 2, depending on what the coverage is and where Dallas got it. I don't know. So I think it's been very simplified, and that's where you're going to see a dramatic improvement. So much so that I think that's why I'm so bullish on Jalen Hurts, is because he's not going to get worse. And if May 31st is an indication if he's not ready or whatever that kind of thing is, great. Then he's going to this movie. White Men Can't Jump. It's the perfect scenario when Sidney Dean, and he's looking over at, and he's just like, what are you doing? He's, I'm doing 2 things. 1, I'm pissing them off, and 2, I'm pissing you off because I know it makes you play better. And I think that's what somebody's trying to do inside. And I'm just so excited for everybody to be wrong about Jalen. Okay. Basically. So yeah.
Now let's talk about Rosie Perez. Oh my God.
My first crush of all time.
Really? Oh, you're Rosie Perez?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Love
what a time. What a time. Early 90s Rosie Perez, man. God bless Woody Harrelson in that shower scene with her. Anyway, so football. So you said something about the Eagles defense, and I am trying to crack this code before we see them in any type of game situation. And they're not going to do anything in the preseason. We all know vanilla this, vanilla that. Fine.
Right.
We begged Jonathan Gannon all throughout last season to be more aggressive, force turnovers that way. It happened rarely, but in the second half of the season, they play the weaker schedule. Defense looks a little bit more aggressive. Do you think schematically, okay, the key word is it's schematic, like it's planned. Do you think he's going to scheme up aggression, or do you think with more talent in a Hassan Reddick, maybe Jordan Davis is a breakout in his rookie season right away, Nakobe Dean? Like, do you think these guys are just naturally aggressive because that's the way they play, or do you think this will be things that are drawn up by Jonathan Gannon?
This is going to look like Jonathan Gannon's defense, because I just don't think we saw it last year, because it's too confusing to me to be like, okay, it could just be butter in our sauce here, right? They could just be like, oh yeah, look at him trying to get a head coaching job and almost got the Texans job, or it could have happened. I don't know. So either that's true, or you remember last year when it got really weird with Fletcher Cox, and there was a demand of a trade, and maybe there wasn't. So
the Raiders game, yeah.
I think Jonathan Gannon lost that fight last year to be like, can we please at least attempt to throw some 3-4 looks? And Fletcher's like, I kill the quarterback. I'm this years old. I essentially I assume that's what happened. But like this year, it's going, okay, Fletch, here's the deal. No one wants you for this price. I still want you for $14 million. We're bringing in this kid, Jordan Davis. You're going to do what we tell you to do, except you're going to have help. And you're only going to have to rush the passer on third down most of the time. We're going to give you some time off because Jordan Davis is a load. So he's and we don't have to debate the whole pass rushing run stuffer thing right now, but just that's another one. Stay tuned for with that. Nakobe Dean, like you also don't just get a billion linebackers out of nowhere and just be like, nah, we're not going to use those. So like things change dramatically for them too, and it's going to be fun to kind of peel the layer of those onions. A lot of Jonathan Gannon, more or less, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
No, okay. A lot of Jonathan Gannon. So it's going to be planned chaos, which should be nice. Who is the newcomer that has the biggest impact? Rookie, veteran? Who's the guy you think comes in here and it's like, wow, thank God we got that guy? Who do we say that about the most this season?
I can't say Super Bowl run and not say A.J. Brown in the same sentence, because that's the only two things that were really separating my mind and like, where is this team at? And probably you too. Like Devontae Smith is going to be a superstar. And if you pair him together with that, it's just two guys that can eat up at the middle of the field like nobody's business in Dallas Goedert as well, because I'm still really curious where he now fits into the mold. And I also think this opens up Kenny Gainwell, and we can go ahead and ship Miles Sanders' ass way on out of here at the trade deadline to get rid of that annoying, God, I just like, could you just go find a hole and then call yourself an all-star for once in your life. And then Kenny Gainwell is going to end up taking over a lot of the passing game in my mind, and like very early on and late in the season as well. Him and Devontae Smith, I think, are the two most beneficiaries of this move, and obviously Jalen Hurts too. Like, dude, this guy needs to learn that like we're not going to be quiet, and like people in Nashville. And shout out to Buck Riesling, who's got the most fantastic voice in Tennessee, and Teron Davenport, who's got the most respect for any player ever that is talked to in that building. This is a whole different level, man. So you don't need to tweet everything. Just want to say that, but at the same time, you're also going to score like a billion touchdowns and no one's going to care. And I'll ride to the moon wherever you want to go, and we can go back and make sure it's real. Okay? So, like, I'm good. You can say anything you want. Just go score touchdowns for me. Yeah, I don't care. Goes for anybody. Yeah.
See you later, bud. You're in the end zone. I didn't even hear you. You're running by me. I didn't care.
See what's happened to Castellanos? Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Why is it okay? You know what? You brought it up, so here we go. Because I did a whole riff on this at the beginning of the show. But here you go. Here you go. What's so hard? What is so difficult about I'd boo me too? What is so hard about the Malcolm Jenkins approach? What is so hard about the Bryce Harper approach? I would boo me too. What is so hard about that? Like, you're not going to be like 30,000 people are not going to be like, you made a great point. I'm sorry I booed you. Like, what is to be gained by saying anything other than I'd boo me too? What is the game?
It's funnier to talk about. So thank you to both of them. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, right.
Nick, I appreciate it. Like, they're both right and wrong too. It's just kind of like, well, no, Nick's wrong. What am I talking about? Jim's fine. I thought it was whatever. I think those are all dumb questions, but there's a point. Like, Jim's point is to lead to the answer, and is just to hope for a reaction. And so, like, he's right. Like, then you should be able to handle the dumb question too. So right. Nick loses 100 times out of 100. Sorry, man.
Yeah, body
it's not
slam.
Cincinnati either.
Yeah, right. Body slam by Jim Salisbury, as far as I'm concerned, of Nick Castellanos on the receiving end of the body slam. Anyway, All right. So we're all optimistic about the Eagles. You don't use the word cautious. I use it because I don't want to be hurt again. Okay, Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
Why behind this offensive line that's been a pretty damn good offensive line for a long time with a bunch of different names on there now as well? Landon Dickerson's going to be one of those new names more regularly used in the upcoming season. Jack Driscoll probably get some run in there as well. Why has Miles Sanders not had more success behind that type of offensive line?
Because he's too focused on everything else. And you can tell. You don't even need to be in the locker room. Like, it's just like and when fans, and I'm a fan too, when we start talking about he needs to be lined up under center, he can't be in shotgun, or he has to be a certain way. Man, do you think any running back in the league cares? Give me the football, point to where I'm going, and I got to make it happen. And he does not do that. And I'm sorry. Like, he is what he is. He can go out and prove me wrong, and I'll be happier to eat all my words. But he's not going to, because I know who he is already. And you're not going to pay a guy like that beaucoup bucks. And I don't think anybody wants him either. I don't think it, like, try and get a trade package for him and Andre Dillard together and get him out of here before the season starts, in my opinion, because anybody can do his role. Anyone can do his role. It's frustrating because he's a second-round pick, and that sucks.
All right, let's put a number on this one here, and away from Miles Sanders. So I want to end on a happy note here. I'm gonna set the line. I'm gonna set the line at 11.5. Okay. 11.5 touchdown receptions for AJ Brown. Over or under?
Ooh, slightly under.
Slightly under. All right,
Slightly
hold on.
Under.
Forget what I just said. We'll edit it out. All right, I'm gonna set the over/under on 3.5. Over or under?
Over.
Oh yeah. There we go. There's the optimism. His name's John Barchard. Catch him on Bell on the Bird podcast. Obviously, all great things. I see our boy Vince Quinn around town. Got to get him on the program in the near future.
Oh, please.
All things Eagles, all things everything, really, with John Barchard, as per usual. Bell on the Bird podcast. John, always great catching up, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you guys. Thanks, Mark.
Absolutely. John Barchard joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line.